Socrates, a name wrapped in intrigue, mystery, and timeless influence. A man who never wrote a single word, never opened a school, yet his teachings still echo through centuries of philosophical thought. He claimed to know nothing, yet he is remembered as one of the wisest men to ever live. So what made this simple, barefoot Athenian so powerful that his ideas reshaped how we think about knowledge, virtue, and the self? In this video, we uncover the story of Socrates, his life, his radical methods, his controversial trial, and the enduring impact of a man who dared to ask the hard questions. This is the legacy of philosophy's original rebel. Who was Socrates? Socrates was born in Athens around 469 BC to Sophroniscus, a stonemason, and Phainaret, a midwife. From the very start, he led a humble life. He received a basic education and likely trained in his father's craft before turning toward philosophy. Physically, Socrates was far from the heroic ideal of Greek beauty. He was stocky, with bulging eyes and a snub nose. But what he lacked in appearance, he made up for in intellect and a fiercely compelling presence. He could stand barefoot in the snow, drink others under the table without showing signs of drunkenness, and meditate for hours, or even days, without movement. He served in the military during the Peloponnesian War and was praised for his bravery and self-control. It was in the public spaces of Athens where he would walk, talk, and ask questions that left even the wisest stumped. The Socratic method. At the heart of Socrates' legacy lies the Socratic method, a process of questioning meant not to humiliate, but to reveal deeper truths. He believed that through careful dialogue, people could examine their own beliefs and arrive at clearer, more honest understandings. Here's how it worked. Socrates would approach someone, a politician, an artist, a merchant, and ask them a simple question, such as, "What is justice?" or "What is courage?" In the end, the person often realized they didn't understand the concept as well as they thought. This method, often frustrating to his peers, became the foundation for critical thinking as we know it today, a model still used in modern education, law, and ethics. His students and sources. Socrates never wrote anything himself. What we know comes from his students and contemporaries. The three main sources are: 1. Plato, his most famous student. Plato wrote numerous dialogues featuring Socrates as the central character. While poetic and philosophical, Plato's Socrates likely reflects both the teacher and the student's own evolving ideas. 2. Xenophon, a historian and general who also admired Socrates. His accounts are simpler and more practical, often portraying Socrates as a moral guide. 3. Aristophanes, a playwright who parodied Socrates in The Clouds, mocking him as a sophist and a corrupter of youth. Athens and the political backdrop. To understand Socrates, we must understand Athens. In the 5th century BC, Athens was a thriving hub of democracy, art, and philosophy. But it was also unstable, constantly at war, politically divided, and struggling with its own ideals. Socrates lived during a time of political turmoil. Athens suffered devastating losses in the Peloponnesian War against Sparta. The brief and brutal rule of the 30 tyrants shook the faith of many citizens in democracy. Socrates' own connection to some of these oligarchs, particularly Critias, a student and one of the 30, made him a controversial figure. Of the trial of Socrates. In 399 BC, Socrates was charged with impiety, not believing in the gods of the city, and corrupting the youth of Athens. The trial, described in Plato's Apology, reveals much about both the man and the society that condemned him. Socrates defended himself not by begging for mercy, but by doubling down. He refused to propose a harsh punishment and sarcastically suggested he should be rewarded with free meals for life. The jury, offended by his defiance, sentenced him to death. His core beliefs. Socrates' teachings were rooted in a few powerful principles. Virtue is knowledge. He believed that if a person truly understood what was good, they would naturally do good. Therefore, all evil stems from ignorance, not malice. The soul is more important than the body. Socrates emphasized care for the soul through ethics, self-reflection, and pursuit of wisdom. True wisdom is knowing one's ignorance. His famous line, "I know that I know nothing," captures his entire philosophical mission: to humble human arrogance and open the mind to learning. Philosophy as a way of life. For Socrates, philosophy wasn't a profession or pastime. It was a way to live, to question, to search, to challenge falsehoods, to pursue virtue. Socrates' legacy. Socrates' death didn't end his impact, it began it. Plato would go on to build an entire philosophical system inspired by Socrates, laying the groundwork for Western thought. His student, Aristotle, would further expand on ethics, logic, and science. Centuries later, Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius echoed Socratic principles of self-control, inner virtue, and living in harmony with nature. Modern relevance. What makes Socrates timeless is how relevant he remains. In an age of misinformation, division, and surface-level thinking, Socratic questioning urges us to dig deeper, to not accept ideas at face value, to think for ourselves. His life teaches us that it's okay to not have all the answers. Humility is powerful. Challenging authority can come at a cost, but truth is worth it. Asking why can be the beginning of real wisdom. Outro. Socrates wasn't just a man, he was a movement. He challenged the powerful, humbled the confident, and made entire cities question what they believed. He gave us the tools to think, to doubt, and to grow. His life may have ended with poison, but his ideas continue to breathe life into philosophy, education, and human understanding. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of a man who changed the world without ever writing a word. If this video sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of wisdom and wonder from history. Until next time, remember, keep questioning, stay curious, and never stop seeking the truth.